How's it going? Yes, we are live. Alright, so today's live stream is going to be a bit different from my previous live streams. So today I'm not going to be sculpting, and I'm going to be doing Q&A. No one has joined the live stream yet, but I know that you guys watch this live stream after the live stream is done. So most people won't see this part of the video. So just if you're watching this part of the video, just comment lemon in the comment section. It will be a little secret. And yeah, all right. Okay, I think somebody, all right, some people just joined the live stream. How you guys doing? If you can hear me, just type hi or just type yes in the chat, and then we get started. You Prince, how you doing? Yeah, all right. And okay, so hi Kofi, how you guys doing? All right, so today is going to be different. I'm not going to sculpt. I'm not going to be sculpting anything new today. I'm going to be taking, it's going to be a Q&A live session. So I know you guys have a lot of questions about sculpting characters. I see your comments under most of my videos, and I'm still trying to make videos about those comments. But on this live stream, I'm going to try to answer any questions that you guys have about sculpting characters. So just gather your questions, and then I'm going to answer them. In the meantime, I'm going to just walk you through this character. This is my latest project that I completed in Blender, and I believe that's the thumbnail for this video. Let me show you guys the final rendering. I did a little bit of animation. Let me just open up that file. Okay, so let me bring this here. All right, and this was the animation. I don't think you can hear the sound, but it's fine. And I just made a blink, nice blink animation, and I added in some other renders to this video. So yeah, I really like this project. You guys tell me what you think about this project, good or or not. All right, hello son, how you doing? How you guys doing? All right, that's the render. Okay, let me just walk you guys through my file, my blend file here. So I started this character. Okay, thank you Kofi. You also busy, how you doing? So I'm just going to walk you guys through this file briefly, and then we'll go on to the Q&A session. All right, so this character is completely rigged. I went through the whole process for this character. I did the sculpting, the topology, and every other thing like that. If I just go back on the timeline a little bit, yeah, the character is still in a T pose. And if I turn off simplify, and I have some shape keys for the pose of the character, so nothing too much is going on in the environment. So I just have the water, which is just like a plane, and then I have some background images for the forest. Let me actually go into material preview so that I can see this a lot better. Hello everyone that's joining. Doing great, how are you doing? I'm doing great, thank you. Okay, SNK Vlogs, you got the first time opportunity to talk to your teacher. Now I'm glad you can call me your teacher. All right, so this is the file I have. It's just simple planes for the forest, and then I added in some trees from Polyhaven just to reflect on the water. And if I go into the rendered mode, you can see it a little bit better. Okay, it's going to take a while to render. I'm using my GPU, but you're going to be able to see it in a bit. So those planes are just reflecting on the water, and it makes everything look nice. For the hair also, let me show you what I did for the hair. So the hair is just very simple grooming. I used Blender's default tools to make the hair. So I just groom them into place, and if I turn on the modifiers here, let me turn on this one. I just use the breed modifier to add in the breeds, and then I did this here. Okay, I made this, and then I added in some baby hairs to the front of the character, and yeah, that's what makes up this character. All right, so for you guys just joining, like I said, this live stream is going to be a Q&A session. So if you guys have any questions about creating 3D characters, just let me know in the comments, in the chat, and I'm going to answer any questions that you guys have. And also just like the stream, so that so that other people can find it. Okay, so please do something for language Hindi. I'm from India. I don't know how to speak Hindi, unfortunately. I don't know how to speak Hindi. So that is a tough one to do. But I believe YouTube automatically translates the videos into different languages. So when next you're watching my videos, you can just try changing the language on the videos. Okay, please explain all about the steps. Explain all about steps sculpting to rigging. That's going to take a lot of time to do, but I'm going to break down. Okay, I'm going to break down my sculpting process. So I have 4 steps for sculpting anything at all. Okay, I'm going to tell you my 4-step process for sculpting the face. So first step is to block out the face. Okay, and yeah, I actually sent an email about this the other day to those on my email list. Let me see if I can just put that up very quickly. If you're not on my email list, join my email list. You can download any of my products and you'll be able to join. You can download any of my products on Gumroad and then you'll be able to join my email list. So let me just pull up that email. I actually sent something about that. Okay, so the first step for sculpting faces is blocking out the face. The second step, sculpting the planes of the head. The third step is adding facial features as the eyes, the nose, the mouth, and the ears. And then the last step is just cleaning up the sculpt. That's all you need to know about sculpting faces. I can't exactly go through the whole process of sculpting and rigging right now. Just be specific in the question you want to ask, and then I'll be able to help you out. So just tell me a specific part of the process where probably you're having issues with, and then I'll be able to help you out. Okay, someone else is asking, how do I fix weird shading on my model? This can be caused by like a lot of things. I mean, try right clicking and then shade smooths. that can fix a lot of weird issues. And then also try to recalculate the normals. So just go into edit mode and calculate normals on your model, and that should fix any weird shading that you have. Okay, he's talking about the accents, I think. Okay, my accent is there anything wrong with my accent? I hope you guys can hear me properly. I hope my accent is not a barrier for you guys learning. I want to be able to like give you guys the best learning content for creating characters on Blender, so I hope my accent doesn't get in the way of that. But anyways, if you guys have more questions, just let me know. If you have any questions about creating 3D characters in Blender, let me know. Any specific questions. And yeah, okay, I had a question. I have seen many people modeling clothes too. Can we use physics clothes simulation on modeled clothes? Because I don't think I can so far. Yes, you actually can. You can use clothes simulation on modeled clothes, but if you add in a simulation to your model clothes, it's probably most likely remove all your modeled details. I was actually working on something this morning and let me just show you that. If I go up to okay, so let me just open up my file, something I was working on this morning. So these clothes, I actually modeled this hoodie and then I ran a clothes simulation on top of it. So it got rid of all the details I sculpted in, but with the clothes simulation details that I had, but it gave me this clothes simulation details. So yeah, you can model it and then run clothes simulation details and then run clothes simulation on top of that. So yeah, it's very possible. Let me open back up my other file. So yeah, it's definitely possible to model your clothes and run clothes physics simulation on it. Yeah. Okay. Do you guys have any projects that you're currently working on? Anything like at all that you're currently working on? Yeah, I'm going to wait for you guys to drop in more questions and I'll try to answer that. Hello David, good morning, how are you doing? Okay, you're working on a monster. Son VFX, I believe you're on the Discord server, right? I see a username on the Discord sometimes called Son. You're on the Discord server, right? Yeah, I believe you're the one on my Discord server. Alright, that's you. Alright. Yeah. Okay. You can share what you're working on the Discord server if it's at a point where you can share it, and probably I'll just give you feedbacks right here, right now on the live stream. So yeah, if you can just share that, like, I don't know how fast, if you're close to your computer, but maybe you can just share your sculpts. I'm working on a character human figure. Is it a stylized character or realistic character? I'm asking David now. David is working on a character human figure and I want to know, is it a stylized character or a realistic character? Actually, let me show the stylized character, like something like this or more cartoonish. So a stylized character, is it something like this or more cartoonish? Let me also see. I believe I can just drag and drop this right here so that you guys can actually see the comments in case you're watching this later on. Where is it? Okay. Sir, can I know cartoon channel Bablu? Bro, I don't even know what this means. I'm very sorry, but I don't know what that means. I don't know exactly what that means. So yeah, sorry about that. I can't help you that. Can I know cartoon? No, I don't know. So I can't help you. Let me just do this up. Okay, is there a cartoon named W? Okay, let me just Google it and see if there's a cartoon named W. Oh, okay, I see. Videos. I believe this is what you're talking about. W. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Blue is a famous cartoon in India. Okay, so let me just watch it and then let me see if I can. Okay, probably you want to create characters like this. I'm going to mute that for now. And yeah, actually looks nice. The character design looks good, I guess. Let me just scroll through this, see what's going on. Yeah, so I'm guessing you want to create characters like this. SNK Vlogs. You want to create characters like this. So, okay, actually, I'm going to do something for you. I just remembered I have a presentation slideshow about making characters. So let me just see if I can find that. And then I'm just going to walk you through that. So I'll go to, where exactly do I find that file now? I don't know, I dropped the file on my PC. There's a file where I just walk through creating characters in Blender. Okay, yeah, I found it. Alright, so this is a pure file I created a while ago, and I'm just going to walk you through my process of creating characters. Okay, someone else, Raja, hello sir, I'm new to your channel. Hi, you're welcome. Alright, and I'm going to walk you through my whole process for creating this character all the way to a final render. Alright, so let's get started. Let me show you the process of creating this character. So just take a look at the final renders here. So this is a bit similar to the show you just showed me, or you can apply the same steps that I'm going to show you now to creating that character. So first things first, you want to gather reference and choose like a mood board. So this was my main reference for that character, and then I gathered some auxiliary references to help me out when sculpting the character, just to give me a style of what I'm going for. I also gathered some references for the poses, and then for the rendering style I also added in some references. So make sure to gather a lot of references depending on what you're going for. So this was my main reference. And then for sculpting characters, the first step is the block out process. And the way you block out your character, so the purpose of blocking out your character is to establish the specific silhouette of your character. Okay, then once you know that, you just go in and use simple, very simple shapes to block out your characters. So for this character, this was the starting point. With the block out, you are trying to establish a solid foundation for all the other steps of creating the character. So just something simple like this to represent your character is going to work. And then some tips for when you're blocking out your character. I don't know if you guys can see this stuff, but tip number one that I wrote down here was use low poly meshes to block out. So if you use low poly meshes, it's going to be easier to change the forms of your character if you need to. And then number two, keep movements and deformation in mind. So what I mean by that, you have to keep in mind that your character is going to move at some point, like it's going to be deformed, it's going to be animated at some point. So you want to keep these proportions in mind. Make sure that your character can actually articulate when you're blocking them out. So at this blockout stage is when you start to think about stuff like that. And then okay, here's how I approach block out of my character. Okay, I block out the head first, then I go on to block out the body. So for the body, you want to keep this S curve in mind from the head through the torso, and then you can add in the legs. And then this was the face I sculpted for this character, and this was the final head sculpt, and then this was the final character block out. And yeah, that looks good. And then let me just walk you through my process for sculpting faces. If you don't follow me on Instagram already, make sure to do that. My handle is at Kenny's, let me just type it in the chat. So Kenny's at underscore is my handle on Instagram, and I posted this a while ago, so make sure to follow me there because I post stuff like this. So how to sculpt: step number 1, delete the default cube. That's the most important step, and then you add a round cube instead. Then once the head is done, you start to once you've added in the round cube, you block out the jaw and the cranium. So just pull down the jaw and the cranium, and then just start with the simple block out, and then work your way up. Then you can add the neck, the ears, and the bust. Then step 3, mark out simple plain changes for the face, and then also mark out essential landmarks on the face, like any details that I think might be necessary. You also mark those out. And then step 4, you use simple shapes to block out. You use simple shapes and simple brush strokes to block out the facial features. Step 5, you refine the sculpt and make sure everything works well together. Step 6, you can add in extra details to further match your reference. And then step 7, you can add in a little bit of asymmetry. You can tilt the head, rotate the body, and a side eye can make a lot of difference. And then after we are done with sculpting the character, we are going to move on to the topology. Then the topology is very simple to do. I'm just going to link, if you want to learn topology like for faces, you can check out the topology video on my channel. I think it's still one of the best topology videos like out there, so check that out if you're interested in learning topology. So this is just an example of what the face topology would look like, and then you can also go ahead and topologize the body. All right, and then move on to next steps like hair grooming. Hair grooming is just where you add in hair strands or guide hair strands, and then those guide hair strands will tell other hairs how to be placed on the head. So for this example, these are example of guide strands, and these are the guide strands with the children hair. And I did that for the front, I did it for the back, the ponytail, and I also did it for the side. So this is what the hair grooming ended up looking like. I ended up using a black color for the hair grooming too. And then clothes modeling, I used box modeling to model these clothes, and then I did simulation. So that's question that someone asked earlier. So this was the workflow I used. I used like box modeling like this just to model the clothes, and then I ran some simulation on the clothes to make it sit on the character. Okay, one question on topology. Okay, what's your question about topology? Feel free to ask. And after modeling the clothes, I also went up and modeled the shoes and stuff like that. I also cleaned up the clothing, and then I went on to rigging the character. So for this particular character, I used a very simple rig. I didn't even bother to use Rigify or anything like that. I just used a very simple rig, and I rigged the character, the whole character. And then I started with the posing. So I made 4 poses for this character. Not all of them made it through, but I made 4 poses. And then with those poses in place, I simulated the clothing. So this was for the second pose, this was for the third pose, and yeah, this way I just simulated the clothes for the poses. And then I went on to lighting, rendering, and experimenting with the topology. So lighting, rendering, and experimenting with the lighting. So I just added in some lights, some gobos in the background to add like this textured look on the background. And after that, it was this way the final renders. So yeah, that's a very simplified breakdown of how I create characters in Blender. Okay, a question here: topology apply for all body or only on face? Yeah, you have to do the topology on all the parts of the character, so both body and face. In this example here is different. I was just trying to show something. So you have to retopologize the body and the head together. They will all be one mesh when you are doing the retopology. Okay, I notice you use crease brush a lot during the blockout. Can you tell me the fall off for your brush? Okay, the fall off of the brush. I use the default brush settings in Blender. I don't change most of my brush settings. Yeah, so the default is what I use. Let me check. I'm just going to open a new Blender file and I'll check the defaults for you. So in a new Blender file, let's open this up. And let's delete everything, adding a round cube, and let's go to sculpting and brushes. I have not yet shown up here. So this has been happening recently to me in Blender, where my brushes don't show up, so I have to close the file and open it up again. So let me just try that again. Blender 4.5. Let's just open that up again and let's see now. I'm going to select everything. I'm adding a round cube and let's go into sculpt mode. All right, now the brushes show up. If I go to the sculpting and I choose the crease polish brush, so this one right here, so my fall off is the smooth fall off. This is the default. I don't change any of this most times. Most of the settings I leave at the default and I just sculpt from there. So yeah, that's how I sculpt faces. Sorry, that's the settings I use for my blockouts when I'm using the crease brush. So nothing fancy there, is the default settings. All right, if you guys have any other questions, just throw them at me. Okay, do you also use a mouse or graphics tablet? Okay, I'm currently using a display tablet. I'm using XP Pen Gen 14 Pro or something like that. 14 is in the name. Is XP Pen. Is a display tablet, so I can see and then I can sculpt. Before this, I just got this one like a few months ago, like in May. But before that, I was using a graphics tablet, just like a normal graphics tablet where you can see. So most times when I'm working with Blender, I'm mostly using my graphics tablet. I rarely use my mouse. Like for most things, I'm using my graphics tablet to draw, to sculpt. Most things I'm doing, even when I'm doing topology or texturing, most of I use my graphics tablet. Only when I want to use sometimes the scroll wheel on the mouse, that's when I remember my mouse. But for most things, when I'm inside of Blender, when I open Blender, I'm mostly using my graphics tablet. So yeah, that's that. Nice. Do you know? Nice to know. Follow your tutorials, and I completely know sculpting body and clothes. Please, what is next? Okay, so if you've been able to sculpt the body and you've been able to sculpt the clothes, the next step for you is going to be retopology. If you're done with everything, then your next step should be retopology. Let me show you guys something that I teach to my students in my mentorship program. So I'm just going to bring up my mentorship program here, and I'm going to show you the step-by-step process that we always go through when we are creating characters. All right, so let me just scroll down. So week 1 is choosing a concept. Week 2 is blocking out a base mesh. Week 3 is sculpting the head. Week 4, sculpting the body, the hands and the hair. Week 5 is sculpting and modeling the clothes and accessories. So I'll assume you're in this step. So the next step would be to retopologize the face. Then once you're done with that, retopologize the body. Then once you're done with that, you finalize your retopology then you do any additional modeling, maybe on the clothes and stuff like that, and then you do UV unwrapping. So these are the steps I take for creating any character. And then once that is done, you can move on to the hair grooming. Once hair grooming is done, you can move on to texturing and shading the character. And then once you're done texturing and shading, you can rig the character. You can use Rigify, or you can make a rig completely from scratch. And then the last step is the presentation and making final renders. So that's how I go about making characters in Blender. And if you didn't know, I have a mentorship program where you can learn how to create stylized characters. If you want to learn how to create stylized characters, like you just want to skip the whole process, like the guesswork of creating characters, definitely join my mentorship program. The next session is going to be open in January, so make sure to join the mentorship program. So you learn how to create 3D characters, and here are some of the work from students. So what is in the mentorship program? There are 12 weeks. Let me just enlarge this. There are 12 weeks of live classes. That's 2 classes every week. On Monday and Fridays we normally have class, and then before every week you have 1 video to go through for the mentorship program. In the mentorship program you have weekly critiques, and so I just critique your work every week. So check that out. The link is, let me just check. Yeah, the link is in the description. You can check it. 3D character mentorship program, learn.keneza.com is the link you can go to. So just check that, and then you can read all these details. If you want to know how to create characters, you want to learn how to create characters, check out the mentorship program. And yeah, this is the curriculum. You can check out the FAQs. The program is completely beginner friendly. For the program, I would assume that you've tried using Blender before. That is not your first time like using Blender. So that's the only criteria. You just have to use Blender, know how to use Blender. And then if you can't meet classes any day, no problems. I always upload it for everyone to their dashboard. And then by the end of the program, you'll be able to get excuse me, by the end of the program you're able to have a character that goes in your portfolio, and you don't need to know anatomy. You don't need to know anything actually to take this course. You just need to know how to use Blender, and I'm going to teach you every other thing. And then, do you need a graphics tablet for the course? You don't necessarily need a graphics tablet, but I'll go through that. You can just go through the page on your own, and yeah, that's that about that. Okay, some other questions. Okay, I need to get a graphics tablet or display tablet. My mouse is giving me hell. Yeah, using a mouse for sculpting is tough, like really tough. So yeah, if you can, definitely get a graphics tablet. If you want to go all in, you can get a display tablet. If you're just starting out, I recommend getting a graphics tablet to start out. So yeah, mouse for sculpting can really mess up your hands. So yeah, who's this? Braca. She's kind of thick. Okay. Yeah, sure, buddy. Okay, and yeah, so if you guys have any more questions about sculpting, I'm just going to go over my character again. Okay, is this the character you're calling thick? I mean, moderately. She's moderately thick, I think. So yeah, you guys have any more questions, you let me know. All right, and why the moon face emoji, David? Okay, yeah, what else can I show you guys on this project? So yeah, let me show you guys the plane, the water, or the plane, whatever you want to call it. So I wanted to use dynamic paint for the plane, but I ended up not using that, so this should not be here. I just used a simple deform modifier to bend the plane so that the waves can be like this. So I just used a simple deform modifier so that it bends the texture. If I go into if I go into material preview, you can see the texture on the water. This simple deform modifier just bends it so it's straight. When this is turned off, when I turn it on, it is bent. So that just is in the same direction as the camera view. So it looks much nicer when it's curved, when the waves are curved rather than it being straight. Just a little bit of difference. Okay. Any other questions for me before I leave? Oh, this live streams actually, like, time actually runs so fast. We've already been here for about what's the time? Let me check. So we've been here for about 36 minutes, which is nice. Okay. (11:42) is the time. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know the time. I was trying to check how long we've been here. So according to OBS, we have been here for about 36 minutes. Okay, I see another question. One video on a topology on full body. Yeah, that video is coming out at some point on this YouTube channel. I've not yet gotten to recording that, but it's going to come out at some point on this YouTube channel, on my YouTube channel. So just wait for it. It's going to come out at some point. But in the meanwhile, you can check. Let me recommend some other channels that you can look at for that tutorial. So just go to on YouTube, check Danny Mac 3D. He has a topology video about the body. He goes a bit fast in the video, but you should be able to follow along nicely with the tutorial. Body topology. So you can check Danny Mac. Just search it on YouTube, and yeah, you should find something to help you out. But I'm going to make a tutorial about that at some point. How long did it take you to master sculpting? I don't personally think I've mastered sculpting, but to get where I am like right now, it has taken me since 2020 till 2025. So that's about 5 years. I'm not the best like sculptor out there, but I know how to make characters. I can know how to do that very well. So it has taken me 5 years to be able to get here. Let me actually see if I can pull up some of my old sculpts so that you guys actually know that I'm not even playing. Like, I was horrible at sculpting. Okay. See, take a look at this sculpt right here. Okay, so this was something I made probably in 2020. I don't know which year this was, but yeah, we all start from somewhere. So this was my sculpt at some point. Let me see if I can open the blend file. This was another of my sculpts, so not as polished as what I have today, but we all start from somewhere, and that's something to keep in mind. Let me show you another one. This is one of my sculpts from way back, and if you check on my Instagram, like if you scroll all the way down, you're going to see most of these sculpts. Yeah, some of them are not that bad. This one kind of looks nice, kind of, but yeah. Let me show you this one. Wow. So this was one of my sculpts. I don't know when exactly I did this, but at some point I made this character. So yeah, we all start from somewhere. So I found out about Blender in 2019. I didn't find out about Blender in 2019 actually. Someone gave me Blender in high school. It was like I never used it like at all until 2019. I started using Blender. In 2019 I was like just doing random stuff, like I was following all the tutorials on YouTube. So Doki 3D, Grant Habit, I was just following all the tutorials on YouTube, anything I could find. But then in 2020 I actually started sculpting characters. So yeah, 2020 to 2025, 5 years is a lot. But if you want to master sculpting, I think you can do that in like 6 months of dedicated practice. So just a sculpt a day for 3 hours for the next 6 months. So let me actually calculate that. So 6 months, let me ask Google, how many days is 6 months from now? Okay, so for 6 months, that's 181 days. You can make a sculpt every day for 3 hours for the next 181 days, and then you're going to be able to master sculpting. Like I can guarantee you that now if you do a sculpt from now, from today, the next 6 months, you're going to be able to master sculpting. So yeah, that's how you get good, by just doing it. And then you can also do speed sculpts. Speed sculpts also help a lot. So speed sculpts is just setting a timer. Ideally set the timer and then focus on one area of sculpting. Maybe you can sculpt maybe muscles or something. Just sit down for a few hours and then practice a certain part of sculpting. And then after that sculpting session is done, you can review what you've done, and then you can try it again maybe the next day or the day after that, and yeah, stuff like that. That's how you get good sculpting characters. That's how you master sculpting. Okay, any other questions? Let me just make a quick sculpt while you guys ask more questions. I'm just going to try to sculpt something. I'm going to do it like very fast, like a picture, and let's see if I can beat picture. So I'm just going to create a new cube, and the time is 11:49. And before 11:59, let's see if I can sculpt the face. I'm going to try to be like Speecher. Let me read the comments. 181 days sound reasonable. Yeah, it sounds reasonable. I never came across anyone who has done 181 days of sculpting. You can be the first, Jimmy. You can be the first. Definitely be the first. And me myself, I haven't done it. So, but it took me 5 years. But if you want to get good and you want to get good like really fast, you can try 181 days of non-stop sculpting. So yeah, David, nothing's impossible. Absolutely. So let me just make a very quick sculpt of a face. I thought I won't be sculpting today, but here we are. 150. So you guys can still ask me questions, and I'm going to answer your questions. Do 7D, do 14D, and post the results. Actually, I could do a 7D or a 40. Yeah, actually, I could actually do that. That would be a nice idea for a YouTube video. or 30 days, but I don't know how much progress I'm actually going to see, like for myself, if I do just 7 days. I think if I want to see a lot of progress, it will have to be like maybe 30 days or like 60 days to actually see progress. Because for me, I sculpt almost every day. So almost every day, almost not every day, but almost every day. So if I wanted to see like a lot of progress, it have to be like 30 or 60 days. So yeah, and just quickly make a sculpt. Jimmy, what's the amount we talking about? I missed the part. What? I do not understand that sentence at all. What's the amount you are talking about? I missed. Okay, you missed the earlier parts of the live stream. We're just talking about random stuff, honestly. A lot of Q&A, and then I walked through. You can scroll, like you can just go back to the video. I walked through my process of, okay, what amount of sculpting? Okay, what amount of sculpting per day? I'll say 2 hours. 2 hours is okay to practice, maybe just sculpting a face or sculpting something. So yeah, 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours a day is going to be completely fine if you want to practice and get good really fast. So you can try doing 2 to 3 hours every day. If that's too much, you can definitely just stick to like 1 hour. But yeah, if you get started, you probably go past 1 hour. Yeah. Do you plan on making a short movie from all your characters you've made? No, that's not a plan, like at all. Using like 3 characters is just like, I like beautiful stuff. So I don't have any plans of making like a short movie, but I've been actually thinking about the idea of doing like a project that's going to be a short movie, but I know that's going to take a lot of time, so I haven't like sat down to actually plan any stuff. And main reason, I don't have like a lot of ideas for a short movie at this point in time. I've not yet like sat down to have an idea about a short movie, a short film to make. But all the characters I make are just sitting on my computer, like they have no purpose right now. So they're just sitting on my computer, on my laptop. Yeah. Is this model for static illustration, animation, or video games? Which model are you talking about? I believe you're talking about this one. So this one can be used in animation. I specifically created this one just for illustration purposes, but this character is completely like, it has the nice topology, everything is completely animation ready. It's rigged. Let me just show you the rig. Oh, and I need to turn on simplify. Okay, I'm just turn on simplify. So this character is completely animation ready. I didn't rig the face for this project because I knew I'll be moving the face, but if I had to, I would go ahead and easily add that. So this character is completely animation ready, but I made it just for the illustration. I made this character just for the illustration. So let me show you the renders again, just in case you haven't seen it. I know you saw it in the thumbnail, but I like it and I want to show you again. So let me open that up. So here are the final illustrations I made with this character. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I made an animation. Yeah, I think that looks nice. Okay, when I mean short movie, like 4 minutes or less. I haven't like thought about making a short movie at all. Like I haven't like thought about it. I haven't like sat down to plan out a short movie. But I like the stuff. I don't know if you guys know this guy on YouTube, Stash. I joined his Patreon, and I like the way he like creates his short films. So something like that I would like to do at some point, but I haven't really sat down to think about the idea and stuff like that. Okay, Cozy Noki on YouTube, please explore on time and please explain his body sculpting style. Okay, yeah, I know Cozy Noki. He also has another channel called Tiny Noki. I think he has like 3 channels, but Tiny Noki is his main channel. So I should explain his body sculpting style. I don't exactly know what that means, but I can make a video about sculpting body in Blender, definitely. Okay, Jimmy, so you did not do the leg because you don't see them in the animation, correct? Yes, I actually did the leg for this character, but you don't actually see them in the animation. If I just hide this, the legs are there, but you just don't see them in the renders. So the nice feet are there. Turn on simplify, and yeah, legs are there. But yeah, if you're doing an animations and you don't like see like a part of the feet, you don't need to create it. Hello Nimra, how you doing? Hello to you too. How you doing? Nimra Khan, how you doing? Okay, so yeah, what was I saying? The feet. If you're not seeing a particular part of the character, then you don't need to add it in if it's not going to be seen. Yeah, if you run a render, does it calculate also parts that is not visible in the camera? Yes, it's going to calculate everything that is not visible in the camera, I believe, but there's a setting to actually make it not do that. So I saw this in a Blender Guru video the other day. If you select your camera and you go to, can't remember where it is, or you go to here. Okay, you select your character and you go to visibility. Yes, camera calling is the option. There's a way to turn on these options, and if you turn it on for the object, Blender won't calculate that part that is not visible. But for this character, I didn't turn that on, so you just calculated everything. So render time is a bit long, especially if you're rendering like 4K or something. So this was the resolution I used for the render, but for the still renders, I rendered them out with a higher resolution. Nimra, I like your videos. Thank you very much. I'm going to keep releasing more videos for you to like them. Okay, so yeah, which videos would you like to see, Nimra? Which videos would you like to see on the channel about creating characters? Let me know, and I'll most likely create a tutorial about it. So just let me know in the comments right now. All right, so yeah. Okay. All right, so we've been here for 54 minutes and OBS doesn't like that when I minimize that tab. Okay, another question: do you do Blender update review? No, I don't do. I've not done any video like that on this channel yet. Well, Blender 4.5 is coming out next tomorrow, I believe, on the 14th of November. So maybe I might make a video about that. I don't think there's anything interesting coming out for like making characters. Let's actually go to the Blender website and let's see blender.org and let's see what's coming in Blender 4.5. Just move this down here. Of course, I'm a human, and let's see what's new in Blender 4.5. This render right here was made by a very amazing artist. I love his work. Juan Hernandez, I believe, is how you pronounce that. His work is like so good. If you can check out his work on ArtStation, let me Google that. Juan Hernandez, artist, ArtStation. So yeah, this guy on ArtStation, check out his work. Like he's a really talented artist, and he made the splash screen for the new Blender 4.5, and it looks so good. Like his work is just so nice. Okay, but that's by the way. Blender 5.0 was new. Let's see. Hello Mystic Paragon, how are you doing? So let's see what's going to be interesting for us here. Sculpt, paint, texture. Let's see what's new there. There are not a lot of updates for the text, for the sculpting, for the painting. So for Blender 4.5, I don't think it's necessary to do a update review, especially since there's nothing much coming out for character artists. But I might, if I see something interesting, then I'll talk about it in a YouTube video. There's something about the multi-res. There's a new apply, instead of apply base, or alongside apply base, there's also a conform base. I haven't tested that out, so I have to check what that actually means. Let's see this video here. I don't exactly know what that video means, but I'll have to take it out on my own and see what that does. So for the brushes, the brush size, strength, and jitter properties now have customizable curves to change how tablets. Yeah, these are just very little changes, like quality of life improvements, I believe is what Blender calls them, and not more changes. It's called the grab, snake hook, and elastic brush no longer show pressure sensitivity toggles. So yeah, no much updates for Blender sculpting, and there's a lot of updates for geometry nodes. I know lots, but I don't use geometry nodes a lot. I don't understand most things in geometry nodes. So yeah, let's see animation and rigging. Yeah, a lot of stuff that I don't do, so it's not really interesting to me. But I'm definitely going to upgrade to Blender 5.0 as soon as it comes out, because I think it's going to be nice. So yeah, any other questions, sir, on video on sculpting to rigging? Sir, any video about sculpting to rigging, any character part wise? Okay, I think you're looking for a video that explains the whole process of creating characters, and there's actually a video I saw. Let me see if I can just go to YouTube and find that video. There is a video I saw about creating. There are many videos on YouTube about creating characters, but okay. Let me just try and find the video. Okay, yes, we found the video. So this is it. This video right here. If you want to know the whole process from sculpting to rigging, check out this video. So creating an arcane style character. So it was released 1 month ago, so you can check out that video. The video is by Studio Lloyd, and yeah, it shows the whole process of creating characters from start to finish in an arcane style. But yeah, it's going to be definitely very valuable to you if you want to know the whole process. And the guy in the video, yeah, he's a nice guy. I hope so. I don't know him personally, but yeah, so you can check that out. And then, sir, please make a short animation from all character and cartoon. I should make a short animation from all characters and cartoons. That was like a very big project. If I had to make characters from all the, if I had to make short animation from all the characters and cartoons, so I don't know if I have enough time to do that. And 4.4 should be enough for character artists. Yeah, definitely 4.4, 4.5 is going to be enough. But I just like to upgrade. I like to be on the latest version of Blender, you know, just because. But I feel if anyone doing animation, they need to update always to the latest, because yeah, definitely if you're doing animation, because there are a lot of new animation updates. So if you're doing animation, you definitely want to like increase or update your Blender version to Blender 4.5. So yeah, okay, so let me check my time here. Okay, we've been here for about an hour, and I'll try to answer as much of you guys' question as I could. So thank you guys, everyone that joined the live stream. Thank you guys for joining. I appreciate it. And I stream every Wednesday by this same time. So next week Wednesday, I'll probably be making a sculpt. I'll probably be doing another sculpt. So do well to join. You can also suggest some things you want me to sculpt in the comments, and I'll sculpt that. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week Wednesday. You can check out the links in the descriptions. You can check out the mentorship program. You can check out what else in the description. Actually, you can join the Discord. Yeah, join the Discord, and you can also submit your characters for review. So if you like to critique your work, you can submit your character for review, and I'll make a YouTube video about that. And yeah, I see another question. What are your thoughts on AI and 3D stuff? Well, we are going to answer this in another live stream, and I'll see you guys next time. You guys take care. Bye bye.